Today's video, I'm going to discuss 3 important pointers that you must consider when doing your first fix and flip. These 3 points will help you maximize on your profit and avoid lots of pitfalls. Number 1, know the numbers. Know what your margin is going to be after all expenses and all involved partners are paid off. What are you going to take at the end of the day? And typical expenses in this kind of transaction are contractor fees, real estate brokerage fees, lender fees, and fees for supplies. It's not limited to that, but those are some main fees that you will incur when you're doing a fix and flip. And just know what margin you are trying to take home. Know your numbers beforehand. Typically, when we do an investment, we do flips, we look for about a 15% return on investment, a 15% margin. It all depends on what market you're in, what area you're in. And in some areas, 10 to 12% can also be a very generous margin. The next number that you must pay attention to are days on market. It's an acronym that I've talked about a lot in my other videos. And you must know when your property is going to be complete. Like, say for example, if you bought it in spring or fall, when is it going to be complete? If it gets complete in September, just know when you're putting it on the market in September, how many days does it usually take for that type of property? If it's a single family 3-bedroom house, how long does it usually take in the city you're trying to sell it in to sell that property? Because if you know how long it's going to take, that's going to help you understand what type of loan you need to get. You need to get a 6-month loan or a 12-month loan, because these small short-term loans can be very, very expensive. And on typical transaction here, a fix and flip in the Bay Area, a typical cycle is about 90 days. That's if everything is flawless and everything is flowing perfectly. So if you are flipping properties less than that, you're a pro, but that's a typical cycle, and it might range a different cycle in different states and different cities. Number 2, assemble a strong team around you, guys. I cannot emphasize this point enough. It's a very important part to have strong people around you. So the contractor that you're working with, make sure that you know what type of quality work he has, and is he responsive? Is he really open to communicating? Because a very important part in this flip and fix and flip business is time management. So your contractor must be able to deliver on the timelines, because if he's not able to do that, it could skew things off. Your margins can go the wrong direction. The other important aspect is working with a branded agent. So when you're ready to list a property, don't shortchange yourself, guys. Work with an agent, because that person knows how to sell the property. They're going to take your property and sell it at maximum price in the shortest time possible, which is very, very crucial in this transaction. Also, if you work with a legitimate agent who's active in the business, they're going to have connections with escrow companies, title companies, and that's where you can get a preliminary report for free, or get other reports for free from them. Because the main thing you want to make sure when you buy a property is, does it have any liens on it? Does it have any judgments? Because that's the last thing you want. You buy this property, you're trying to grow your portfolio, grow wealth for yourself, and now you have a liability on your hands. So it's very important to work with a good agent. He can help you with all these things. Another part, which not all of you do this, but it's an optional aspect. You can work with a person who is really familiar with the city. They know what department to go into, especially if it's your first flip and you have never gotten permits on a house before. If you don't know how that dynamic works, it might be very beneficial to work with somebody like that who can show you and tell you where to go. They might charge a small fee, but that person will really come in handy when it comes to licensing. So look into that. There's a lot of small companies or sole proprietors or small business owners that do these consulting services. Number 3, take ownership in a business. Even though you're doing your first flip and say you're doing it yourself, or you only have one partner, I would still urge you to take ownership in an LLC or a corporation. Now, the type of business that you should take it in, I'm not an expert on that. You should talk to your CPA or accountant to tell you, hey, it should be an LLC, should it be a corporation C, or should it be a corporation S? That's something that you need to talk to them, but I highly urge you to do that, because like I had already mentioned, there's a lot of moving parts in this business. Different parties, different vendors, borrowers, lenders are involved. Anything is possible. So you don't want to incur a liability that will go after your personal assets. So it's good to stay protected and have a company and do it under the umbrella of a company. That's it for today, guys. If this video was insightful to you, please don't forget to share, like, and comment. We'd love to hear from you. And if you are watching this video and are trying to start or trying to do your first fix and flip property, do not hesitate to call me and my team. We'll love to help you find properties, or just if you have general information, just contact us. All the real wealth in this world is real estate, guys. So go out there and buy yourself some good real estate and make some money and grow your wealth. Until next time, this is Karan Singh.